rules. I'm not going to have to reiterate them. No droids, no bounty hunters, no Reylos. I'll reiterate them anyway. No Kyle Ren fans, no sequel trilogy fans, no black pills. If you liked The Mandalorian, if you liked The Book of Boba Fett, you're more than welcome. If you didn't, and you're not here to troll, hey, you're welcome to come in too. But I don't take trolls. Anyway, the Obi-Wan trailer dropped. And no, because of my system, I can't go through it scene by scene, but I wanna talk about it. Maybe I can find it on my computer here, and we can kind of go through it and go through it step by step. I want to talk about it. First of all, there's a lot going on here that I think naysayers are not understanding. There's a lot of lore that doesn't get talked about in Star Wars fan groups. I mean, only the really deep lore ones. And one of them has to do with the cartoon, the animated series Rebels. Rebels featured a group of what were called Inquisitors. Hey, Jonathan, who were basically tasked by Darth Vader and the Emperor to hunt down runaway Jedi. And we see the Grand Inquisitor. We see Reva, who's one of the Inquisitors, and I think the fifth brother. And we have to understand that a lot of the stuff that we're going to be seeing, it was seen in Rebels in the animated series. So if you're not understanding why do they have lightsabers and where's Vader and this looks awful, no, it doesn't. Yeah, they were basically former Jedi, tortured into embracing the dark side and into obedience by Vader. Okay, and that is what we have to remember. So, and we've got, I think, basically, got a lot of them. A lot of people, well, I mean, we've got a lot of references to Rebels. We've got you're right, the Grand Inquisitor was a temple guard. I mean, we've got a reference to Jedi Fallen Order. Okay, that is, if I can find the trailer, I don't want to go to IGN, I want to go to the Star Wars. Please? Yep, there it is. So I'm going to watch this, and we first get, let's watch. Here it is. There's Obi-Wan and his Eopie. There he is again. And he's riding across the Dune Sea. And then he's on a rock outcropping, and he sees the Lars Moisture Farm, and there's young Luke Skywalker. Obi-Wan's just doing what he's supposed to be doing. And this is one of the Inquisitor ships. This is directly from the game Jedi Fallen Order. And this is the Grand Inquisitor. They just showed him. Let me go back. No, we gotta go way back, don't we? There, this is the Grand Inquisitor, right there. And then this is, again, on Tatooine. Don't know where they're going. More Inquisitors, someone got hung. This is Reva, she's an Inquisitor. There's Owen Lars. There she is, and Dayu. And there's an Imperial officer, played by Indira Varma. You see one of the K2SO type droids. There's the Grand Inquisitor again. There's Dayu, there's the fifth brother. There's Riva again. And this is, there's Obi-Wan. You hear in the music a lot of what I would say references to the prequels to in the music to Battle of Heroes, Duel of Fates. That was obviously John Williams' offering in that. But I don't see anything to be upset about. I don't understand. I really don't. I mean, you know, let me give you the background of this. I heard this, and I believe it, that you remember when Kennedy was like, oh, we've got all these scripts, and she had Ewan McGregor up there, and they were all happy. And then suddenly her showrunner got fired. All right. Deborah Chow was brought in, and the scripts were all rewritten. Remember that? Okay. Want to know the reason why? Because she wasn't paying any attention to The Mandalorian, as usual, and the scripts are too much like The Mandalorian because Kathleen Kennedy is an incompetent boob. This show is going to be good because of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, not because of her. It was at this time when Favreau took over. He's not listed in the credits. But Deborah Chow taking over as showrunner, that's his mark. Okay. She is a lady who has said, I don't want to be known as a great female director. I want to be known as a great director. That is a big, big statement. You'll notice that a lot of Asian people out there tend to be very much more responsible in their own behavior, and they tend to be very responsible for basically they're basically responsible in their own merit. They very much look to effort as where they get success in marks in school, marks in business. So she's, I think, a lot like that, which is great. Yeah, Deborah Chow's a great director. She really is, and she is the showrunner. It looks to me that that they spent a lot of money on this, a lot more than they did on the Book of Boba Fett. I look at the Book of Boba Fett as something they really didn't want to do. I mean, I don't think John and Dave were keen to do it. I think John was very, very, very busy. I think that the Civil War going on at Lucasfilm also hurt it a lot. And I mean, again, the story was good, all right, but there were things that were off from it. It doesn't mean it was bad. It just means that it could have been better. Okay, hey, Sci-Fi Universe, and I'm also gonna jump into something I just saw today, and it's about, well, General Katarn, I don't know what to do with you. I don't like black pills. If you're a black pill, you're not listening to me, okay? And it makes me want to leave YouTube because I feel like no one listens. Y'all want to be negative. Guess what negative people do? They don't do anything. They're not successful. They don't do anything. They bring everybody else down, okay? All right? Yeah, right, you just said you didn't. All right, Why do I even try? I don't have any hope for it. Oh, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, but I do. No, you just said. Okay? You just said so. You watch the video with preconceived notions. You watch a trailer. This is why I do this. I know no one's going to listen to me. I know it. But I do it anyway because somewhere out there, I cling to hope that maybe, just maybe, I'll make a difference in killing the negativity going on in the Star Wars fandom. All right? There is not going to... Look. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's like talking to my dog's remote control gets me better results. All right. Let's listen. Sit down. Pull up a chair. When Vader said, "When I left you, I was but a learner." Okay? When he said, "When I left you, I was but a learner." What happened in Revenge of the Sith? Who left who at the end of the fight? Obi-Wan left Anakin laying there, burning, writhing in pain. So what exactly... All right, I'm going to ask you a question. When I left you, did Anakin get up on his 2 feet, walk away from Obi-Wan? No! His feet were burning up in the lava. They were cut off. Obi-Wan was the one that walked away. Not Anakin. He couldn't. So what possibly could Vader have been referring to? This is 10 years later. All right? Vader is still an apprentice to the Emperor. So, if you think about all the crap that's going on, you think about where Vader is going. He still hasn't learned everything there is to know about the dark side. And that's not what he meant. And look, if you want to hate it, fine. Fine. I don't care. Okay? I'm done with this shit. We're not allowed to enjoy anything. No one's allowed to enjoy anything. Because if it's Star Wars and has a Disney label on it, even if it's good, it's shit. Okay? That is the reasoning of a fucking moron. See, there's the deal. Okay? We've got, when I left you, I was but a learner. So, are you listening to anything that anybody said? Get rid of the negative thoughts completely. Okay? And stop talking to people who are negative. Because I've cut them out completely out of my life. All right? Okay? Completely out of my life. I no longer talk to them. I no longer have anything to do with any of them. All right? Because they're bad for the fandom. The fandom is unhealthy because of them. All right? Okay. So we've got Tarkin saying he was so sure that Obi-Wan was dead. Da-da! There's what he says. When I left you, I was but a learner. Learner of what? The dark side. He's talking about it being an apprentice to the Emperor. And don't say, yeah, I see your point. No, my point is correct. That is the only thing that makes sense. If they actually meet in real life. Do they? Or do they meet on a different plane of the Force? Remember that apprentice and Jedi Masters are connected. Okay, so it's not like that was severed. And Vader is obsessed with finding him. All right? Now, when we get to A New Hope, we are 3 or 4 years away from Palpatine getting thrown down the shaft. All right? All right? Might we start thinking that Vader is craving power now, and Vader is starting to think, I want to take over, I want to be the master. Remember in The Empire Strikes Back? join me and I will complete your training. And basically, we can rule the galaxy as father and son. Right? And, you know, that's what it is. Okay? That's what it is. All right, he's looking to now start to thinking, I want to be the boss. That's the rule of two. That's what Darth Bane created. Okay? Now, if Luke had joined him, then after Luke pretty much masters the dark side, he'd want to get rid of Vader. And he would look for his own apprentice. Okay? That's what that rule of two was. That's all it was. One to have power, one to crave power. That's it. That's all it is. That's what that all meant. And, you know, if Obi-Wan is dealing with the echo of Anakin's spirit, you know, if Vader, Anakin, is struggling with that as well, that's a pretty cool story. And if Vader's feeling, if I can get rid of Obi-Wan, I'll be able to not fall back to the light side. Because look, there's going to be a struggle with him. All right? Yeah, I think Don Coleman's right. And I really think that we're probably going to see one where Vader thinks he's dead. And that's going to be the end of it. All right? But when I'm looking at it, we've got allusions to Jedi Fallen Order. We've got allusions to Rebels. You know? Yeah, see, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. I mean, what do you want? You know? And again, there are people out there who who aren't as deep into the lore as I am, who watched the trailer and screamed and deemed it bad. It's not bad, but you have to be aware that you're going to be seeing things in this that you aren't familiar with, because if you didn't watch Rebels, if you're not familiar with the story and Jedi Fallen Order, you will not understand the Grand Inquisitor. You won't understand the Fifth Brother and Riza, the other Inquisitor, the black woman assailing Owen Lars. Okay? It is really interesting to me. I think at the end of it you can hear Vader breathing, which is like awesome. But this is going to be epic. This is really going to be good. They were in Rebels, and if you're not familiar with Rebels, you're not going to understand the Inquisitors. Okay? The Grand Inquisitor was a temple guard. These guys running around hunting Jedi were basically former Jedi Padawans that Vader basically forced into embracing the dark side and hunting other Jedi. They're in Jedi Fallen Order. And I'm actually looking forward to seeing Vader take out Reva, because I think that's what's going to happen. If they failed, if they didn't do their job correctly, he will kill you. I'm absolutely shaking with this. And it's going to be, you know, fantastic when it debuts. I'm really looking forward to this. And yet, if you're not familiar, or you're wondering why people are so excited about it, you're not familiar with really the deep lore that is being shown here. Get a synopsis of Jedi Fallen Order. Watch a few episodes of Rebels. And you'll understand a little bit more about what's going on. What I like what I saw is the world building. Dayu looks amazing. It reminds me of Hong Kong. It reminds me of Tokyo. All right, just the brief images we saw. You know, and again, we're back on Tatooine, and I know I'm going to hear people whining about Tatooine. Where was Luke? On Tatooine. Why was Obi-Wan on Tatooine? To watch over Luke. You know? Oh, I know, she is. There, look, Dave Filoni is not listed as a writer. Jon Favreau is not listed as a producer. But this, again, for the people who didn't know this, when Obi-Wan Kenobi was announced at Star Wars Celebration, or D23, I can't remember, and Kathy's out there, yeah, yeah. They had scripts. The scripts were written. The scripts were too much like Mando. Favreau saw it and went, no. Favreau then went and fired her hand-picked showrunner and did what he does, and chose Deborah Chow to direct and showrun all the episodes. Okay, and it looks like a very serious show. When I think about the Book of Boba Fett, I think the one thing it was really missing was, you know, Star Wars should have lighthearted moments, but it is a serious story. Okay? And I think because of what was going on in the background, it did not get the serious, real look over from Favreau and Filoni, because they were busy beating off the bad guys. They were busy, you know. Yes, we're on good terms. I can't message you and do this at the same time. All right. And that was the problem with Boba Fett. I didn't find it bad. It wasn't woke. The people bitching about the story are not familiar with where it came from. A Man Called Horse. Lawrence of Arabia. It's like you consider yourself a cinephile, and you don't know what those shows are. The easy knee-jerk reaction was to say Dance with Wolves. That show, that movie is so unlike Boba Fett, I can't even begin to explain it. Man Called Horse was about a British guy who is out on the Great Plains hunting buffalo and birds. He gets captured by a band of Sioux Indians, Lakotas. Oglala, Unkpapa, Brule, I don't know what band it was. We'll say Oglala or Unkpapa. He's dragged away, is turned into a slave, ends up basically fending off an attack on the village and becomes part of the tribe. And ends up, after another attack on the village, kills the chief, ends up leading the village. You know, and, well, Lawrence of Arabia wasn't a Western. But if you watch it, that's a movie you need to see. And so you have to see it. It's about T.E. Lawrence and World War I in the Mideast. And it's about basically, it's a really good movie. It is really, really good. Peter O'Toole plays him. We've got Omar Sharif in it, Anthony Quinn. I think Claude Rains is in it. But it's a movie worth sitting down. I think it has an intermission because it's a long one, but it's worth sitting down to watch. A Man Called Horse is epic. It's Richard Harris is brilliant in it. You know, and that's where the story, was the inspiration. I honestly think watching the show and seeing the doofuses attacking it and calling it Dances with Banthas, you know, being stupid, weren't understanding that it didn't have anything to do with that. And it shows basically kind of how ignorant a lot of the fandom is. I mean, you can't call yourself a cinephile, again, and say you don't know what those movies were. And, you know, and you can tell what was going on behind the scenes by the first 4 episodes. Well, I think, you know, I have a feeling we're going to hear some big news about Kennedy leaving soon. I just got a gut feeling. I did want to touch on this. Bob Chapek is taking a meeting with Governor DeSantis about the parental rights bill that just got passed in Florida. And he is making what I consider like a half-hearted attempt to basically talk to, I mean, he says he doesn't support it, but, you know, I know firsthand the guy's a Republican. He had, I think Ari Fleischer would come in and do some PR research to see who actually was using Disney services. And, you know, and that's all from Doomcock, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be, hey, how are, that the meeting's going to be like, hey, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. And they're going to come out and, you know, say, well, this happened and blah, 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 and then it'll be done. I mean, this is basically Chapek trying to shut down the idiots. And the board of directors, or the investors today got kind of upset too. I'd have voted against any placating of a very small minority of people. I would have said no. They're here because they're good at their jobs. They will not be bullied here. La la la. Chapek's first reaction was fine. Well, I know they do. That and she needs to go. But as far as this looks like paint over whatever. Okay? I don't, the fact, look, Bob Iger wouldn't meet with Ron DeSantis. Think about it. He wouldn't, I'm not going to meet with that awful racist, bigoted, homophobic Republican. Chapek is. Why? Because Chapek's a Republican. Chapek is a businessman. Chapek is doing this to shut people up. And the board knows that. I mean, the board knows. What else? So that's going on. I'm like not really gonna make a big deal about it, but really this first teaser trailer looked really good. The Inquisitors look freaky. The fact we got a good look at Indira Varma as an Imperial officer was interesting to me. We got to see Luke playing on, pretending he's a pilot on at the moisture farm, which was so, this is going to be a big deal. Now, we didn't get to see Vader, but I think I heard his breathing. Okay. He is the big haunting over all of this. The story might be Kenobi, but it's going to be about Vader too. All right. And the Inquisitors are just there to perpetuate what Vader and the Emperor want them to. That's it. Overriding everything, though, is Vader himself. And again, gotta remember, Vader and Obi-Wan are connected. And when Vader says to Luke, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. Now, you could look at that and say, well, he's talking about back in, on Mustafar, but no, because he says to Anakin, well, then you are lost. So on Mustafar, Obi-Wan thought, he's done. It's over. But he let him live, right? Okay. So what happens? See, I gotta say this. Dave Filoni, who probably stood over the writer's shoulder like a stalk the writer, has the ear of George Lucas. George Lucas probably said, we have to consider what Vader said to Luke in Return of the Jedi. Obi-Wan once thought as you did. Again, this is probably the only channel where you're going to hear that dialogue. And when I left you, I was but a learner. Now I am the master. That could be Vader cocking off. I hope she does Sci-Fi Universe. And it probably was. I mean, he could have been cocking off about it. Again, join me and we will rule the galaxy as father and son. Yes, you're right. You're right, exactly right. So the idea that they didn't meet again or have any contact again in the 19-20 years between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope is ludicrous when you start. The story is way deeper than people think. And the black pills don't understand it. They don't understand the past here. Obi-Wan is carrying a lot of guilt about what happened to Anakin. Okay? All right. He's carrying a lot of regret. Okay? And he basically has no hope of Anakin returning back to the light. And really, I'm sure he thinks like a lot of people would, what's the point of returning back to the light? Look at what he did. Okay? The point is to bring balance back to the Force. And what is that? Removing the dark side. And how do you do that? You get rid of the Emperor. Now, the Emperor, he's messing around with Sith. Hey, Jay. He's messing around with Sith alchemy. He is very deep with that. He's not only learned everything he could from Plagueis, he's learned a lot more since Plagueis left. He's become an extremely powerful master of the dark side of the Force. Extremely. And again, what did I say about the dark side? The dark side is chaos. The dark side is unbalance. It's disorder. The dark side, again, ancient religions like the Egyptian religion, which was based mostly on magic and superstition. I can't remember what the god's name was, but there was a god of chaos. They didn't have any concept of evil, right? The Vikings, Loki, a god of mischief and chaos. Evil was not considered what we know it to be now. Okay? It took Judeo-Christian teaching, morality, and philosophy to understand that evil is disorder. I mean, look at the evil around us today. Ukraine. You've got people living very disordered, unvirtuous lives. Okay? You've got corruption in the government. That's not balanced. That is chaotic. Okay? Our world is very chaotic right now. You can see that the dark side is rising. But people who perpetuate that, some of them just choose to do bad things because they can. They don't have any concept. They don't have any concept of if what they're doing hurts other people. Okay? Ultimately, that's what evil is. That's what disorder is. That's what chaos is. And what we see here in this is, thanks, Jay, what we see here is an idea of disorder perpetuating itself. Yes, and Padme. Okay, she's dead. You're not gonna see Natalie Portman in this because she would never come back to Star Wars. But still, she was the one that thought that. And it's gonna figure in. It's gonna figure in. I mean, you got Obi-Wan saying, maybe I should have brought him with me. Maybe I could have saved him. Maybe I could have helped him. He's gonna have a lot of regret about the last time he saw Anakin. I'm really hoping that we get to see him realize that Vader is Anakin. And I think it was in the EU where he was at a bar, I think the Cantina in Mos Eisley, and they had the HoloNet on, and the Emperor was announcing his new apprentice, and Vader showed up, and Obi-Wan was like, shit, it's Anakin, It's gonna be, sorry guys, that would be really cool. The realization what Anakin became. Not just the blubbering pile of burned flesh laying on the side of the lava river, but what he became and what he was becoming. because he's not there yet. When you watch Rogue One, Vader is at, I think, the peak of his power. I think he starts to wane when he realizes who Luke is. Okay? You know, and again, I've always said this to people. When you see The Empire Strikes Back, at the very end, you see, you know, the Falcon going along, and Vader's watching it, and all of a sudden, R2 fixes the hyperdrive and it's gone. And, you know, Piet's like, and he kind of looks over at Vader, and Vader has his hands behind his back and is just strolling past, deep in thought. That's not Vader anymore. That's Anakin, okay? That's Anakin. And, you know, the father, you know, Luke, father, that whole thing before that. Luke's presence brings Anakin out. Okay, Anakin starts to kind of chip away at the evil that Vader represents. And, you know, when you're watching Return of the Jedi, I'm going to say this. The Emperor wanted to get rid of him. The Emperor had thought, Vader's getting weak. He's not as strong in the Force as he used to be. I need a new young apprentice. He says, Luke. I mean, when they're fighting each other, he didn't give a shit who won at all. Okay? So, and I think Vader knows this. I think Vader understands. All right? I don't think Ahsoka, or I think Anakin may show up to say hi. I do know in the EU that the Force Ghosts, like the last time you see Obi-Wan's Force Ghost is in the first part. When basically Obi-Wan is telling Luke he's you know, he can't come back anymore. This is the last time you'll see him. I'm hoping we learn that. I think that would be a big deal. Okay. Yes, Vader says he's only a boy. Obi-Wan can't save him. I don't really, you know, that's like him basically saying, you know, yeah, he's just a child. All right. Obi-Wan can't help him. Vader doesn't realize that Obi-Wan's been helping him because Obi-Wan is a Force ghost. Obi-Wan has found eternal life. Okay? I mean, that's what the Force ghosts are. Okay? It's a weird concept as a Catholic for me to look at that, but that's what they are. That it shows that these Jedi have souls. Okay? And I think part of the theology of the Force is that, you know, people die and they go into the what is it, the cosmic force, and they lose their identity. What's the point? What's the point of caring if you exist or not then? Because basically the Sith die, this same fucking thing happens to them. So what's the point? All right. That's the thing I don't like about that. Like, the insult I felt in The Rise of Shitwalker was when Leia had to conjure up her imagination of Han and send him to, you know, to help the mule-faced boy change. You know, it's like, that was so insulting to me because that wasn't Han. That was Leia imagining and manifesting Han, who doesn't exist anymore, which that's the part they need to fix. Okay. That's the part they need to fix. They need to have people have an afterlife that matters. I mean, you know, if only Master Jedi who know the secrets can get that. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You know, you live a virtuous life. You've redeemed yourself. You've lived a virtuous life since. And you know, what's the point? You're still gonna end up disappearing like the fucking Sith do. So what's the point? All right, what's the point? They gotta fix that. I would tell Dave Filoni fix it. I would tell George Lucas, you gotta come up with a better thing because there's no point. There's no point in doing good in the Star Wars universe if this is all it is. Okay? What is the reward? Yeah, well, that Maparata was Vader's plan all along. But I think that Han, or well, God, I'm on that again. But I think that Vader was already weakening towards Luke. I think he wanted to fight him and he didn't want to fight him. And Luke didn't want to fight him, but he had to. And then when Leia's mentioned, Luke freaks out, which, you know, like a brother, that's what would happen. I firmly expect my brothers to have done the same thing. But well, I don't know, Don. I'd have to see that in writing somewhere, an official canon, because even Anakin says there are no such things as ghosts. When we die, we go into the cosmic force and we lose our identity. We lose our conscious. It's like our lives didn't matter. Okay? It's bullshit. Bullshit. Okay? There's no reason then to do good. There's no reason to embrace the light side. Right? The Sith don't. They're perfectly happy about having everything in life, having it all now, because they know they're going to get shit later. All right. Yeah, I think it looks fantastic. There were people in a chat earlier screaming that it was female centric. Did anybody here think it was female centric? Again, if you didn't see Rebels, you wouldn't realize that there were female inquisitors. Don, that's Rebels, or George Lucas's canon. That's from Yoda's journey to learn how to become a Force ghost. And Anakin says it. Anakin's the one that says when we die, we become part of the cosmic force. So I mean, when they were talking about Qui-Gon Jinn. Yeah, there were a couple of gals and they were villains. So we're looking at least one of the villains. All right? Well, I only saw two. I saw Indira Varma and I saw that Moses chick, and that's it. I only saw two. I didn't see Baru. I didn't see anybody. I didn't see any women at all, except for those two. You know, it looks to me like it's pretty much a Star Wars show. And the fact that both the women that we saw are bad guys is very telling. Okay? Very telling. You know, so, but it looked, I mean, the trailer looked rich. It looked detailed. It looked a lot, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm hoping that the shows are at least 45 minutes long each. I mean, I'm hoping. But anyway, I gotta go because I'm losing my voice. And I would like to work out a little bit. So, you guys have a good afternoon. Don't let the negative black pills get you down. It looks like a good show. You know, I'm shocked that they dropped the trailer. I didn't think we would see one until tomorrow or Friday, but here it is. And you can tell it's Dave Filoni, John Favreau all over this. Anyway, this is Steph. I'll see you guys later. See you around the galaxy.